Every day, new ways of detecting, treating, and preventing cancer are discovered right here in Colorado. Molly Hendrickson talked to a lobular breast cancer researcher at CU Denver's Anschutz Medical Campus and asked him about the significance of cancer research.
So cancer researchers are working to make advances really across the spectrum of the care for patients that have been diagnosed with cancer. And that's from prevention, early detection, developing new treatments, and then also including the care for patients long after they've been diagnosed and treated. So even though with that research we've made really massive strides against cancer, there are still predicted around 1.8 million new cancer diagnoses this year in the United States alone. So we still have a lot of work to do in the lab.
Yeah, that's significant. What aspect of cancer are you researching, and tell us a little bit about your project?
Absolutely. So I study invasive lobular carcinoma, which is a subtype of breast cancer. It's the second most common subtype of breast cancer and about 10 to 15% of new diagnoses. And that sounds uncommon, but it actually ends up being one of the top 10 most diagnosed cancers in women. And even though it is so prevalent, we really don't know a whole lot about it because for decades, lobular carcinoma has kind of just been lumped in to be considered really the same as other types of breast cancer. What's unique about lobular breast cancer is that it doesn't form the typical lump or mass in the breast that we typically think of, and instead it sort of snakes and radiates through the breast and never really forms a solid mass. And because of that, there are all sorts of unique issues with detection and treatment, but we're still learning a lot about it. My lab is really interested in learning more about the biology of this particular breast cancer type, and we're focused on understanding more about how lobular breast cancer works at the cellular level.
What are you guys hoping to accomplish with this research project?
Right. So the majority of patients that are diagnosed with lobular carcinoma will be treated with drugs called anti-estrogens, which block the ability of the estrogen receptor to fuel the growth of the breast cancer, drugs like tamoxifen or the aromatase inhibitors. And even though for what we do know about lobular carcinoma, these drugs would be predicted to work, we're learning more recently that these cells don't respond the same way to the drugs as other types of breast cancer. So my lab is working to not only understand more about the mechanisms of how cells actually respond to drugs, but we're working long-term to develop new treatment courses, whether that's new combinations or entirely novel treatment approaches that can be tailored specifically to lobular carcinoma in patients diagnosed with lobular carcinoma.
So it sounds like it's hard to detect at times, and it can be tricky to treat as well. What impact has the American Cancer Society had on your work?
So the ACS has played a really special role in the development of my career. Right after I moved to Colorado and opened my lab on Anschutz, I was awarded a small pilot grant that let me do kind of a high-risk, high-reward project that really was the seed for a whole new line of study in lobular carcinoma. That is now the focus of a new grant I've gotten from the ACS, which starts just in a couple weeks, that is really going to help establish not only my lab, but my career long term. So philanthropy through organizations, including the ACS, is really important because they have such a special focus on types of research that isn't funded through other mechanisms. So when people donate to organizations, including ACS, it really helps drive research forward and get people like me established in our careers so we can make new discoveries.
Denver 7 is proud to partner with the American Cancer Society, the Sarah Cannon Cancer Institute at Health One, the Cancer Support Community, and the Colorado Cancer Coalition. We've put resources together for you if you have questions about cancer research in Colorado. You can find that on the Your Health Matters page of thedenverchannel.com.